you guys have 4 of the kids in this class are coming off pretty significant injuries. Worley, the Allens, Jonathan Thomas, ACLs, and his. Where are they at health-wise?
Yeah, you guys are probably going to find out real quick. We don't talk about injuries. I'm not really sure what you're talking about. All of them are as healthy as they've ever been. They drink lots of milk, they stretch, they stay in great shape, but we will never talk about injuries. That's their business, that's the program's business, and we want everybody that we're competing against to be concerned about our entire roster. So, we won't discuss injuries, and I'm not really even sure what you're talking about. All of them are as strong and as fast and as flexible and as explosive as you could imagine. You should see these guys. Beautiful.
And to follow that up, with all the different AllStar Games that'll come up in the spring, summertime, we've never really gotten your take on that, as far as kids competing in events, Big 33 and that kind of stuff. Is that okay with you, or what do you kind of take?
It's about risk and reward. We're going to support these guys because I want them to have a great high school experience and then go on. But I think they have to take those things into consideration. The kid, the parents, the high school coaches, and just understand, is this game worth the risk of possibly getting injured? But whatever they decide to do, we're going to support them. I want them to have a great high school experience, and then when they come to college, they have no regrets. So that's up to the individual. That isn't my decision, and whatever they decide to do, we'll support them.
Okay, Lori, at this point we're going to take a couple questions from the phone line. If we could open up the line of Joe Giuliano, please.
Thanks. James, a lot has been made about you going after Vanderbilt commitments. Do you feel that was right? And does a coach usually sell his school to the kids, or does he sell himself?
Yeah, I'm very comfortable. I go to sleep at night, feel really good about how we conduct our business. When we got the job, we called all the Penn State commitments, had great conversation with them, kind of told them who we were, and then the next thing we did was we called all our former Vanderbilt commitments to let them know what happened and why. And to be honest with you, a lot of those kids started recruiting us. And that's because of the relationship. And we all know the school is a huge factor. But once the guys narrow it down to a number of schools, it's no different than anybody else in this room. It comes down to relationships. It comes down to who you're most comfortable with, who you trust. And from that point on, in my opinion, it's my responsibility to do everything in my power to help Penn State be as successful as we possibly can. And then we leave that up to the kid and their parents to decide what they think is in their best interest. So very, very comfortable with our staff, how we handle our business, and couldn't be more proud about representing Penn State and doing everything in our power to put a product and a team on the field that everybody can be really proud and excited about.
Okay, Bob Flanders in Harrisburg.
Yeah, hi James. I was wondering, I have 2 questions for you. I was wondering, in your opinion, can you identify maybe 3 or 4 qualities or traits that a great college football recruiter has to have success? And also, was there a place to stop kind of on your coaching resume when you kind of finally felt like you were a good recruiter, whether it was working with a head coach or you kind of really try to learn how to become a good recruiter?
Yeah, the traits is, you got to be confident. I mean, you got to walk into these schools, and the guys that we're going to be recruiting, against are going to be the top programs in the country, and you got to be confident to walk in and compete with those guys. You have to know your product, to sell your product, all the strengths and the history and traditions that we have here at Penn State. You got to have some personality, you got to be charismatic, and you got to be honest, and you got to be open, and you got to be upfront and transparent with everything. I just feel like that's one of the strengths of this staff, is guys that are very, very true to who they are. And I think that comes off. And I think it's not something that happens overnight. It's years and years of recruiting areas and developing a relationship. When it comes to when I think we started to have some success and I started to get some experience as a recruiter, probably my first big job when I was at the University of Maryland and named recruiting coordinator and had some success there. But it's been an evolution. I've always been in a situation and been on staffs where you emphasize recruiting because to me it's very, very simple. The plays work better with good players. And you know, we want to be successful, and we want to have a chance to go out and win a bunch of games and do it the right way. And good players and good people and people of high character will help you do that.
Rich Scarcell, ready?
James, you mentioned earlier how many states that you went to get recruits for this class. It was a unique situation, but in the future, do you plan on focusing more on the Mid-Atlantic region, or how do you look at the future?
Well, first of all, we're going to go wherever we have to go to find players. If that is Denmark, if that is Japan, wherever we have to go to find players, we're going to do it. I think some of our recruits are trying, some of our coaches are trying to decide who's going to recruit Hawaii and places like that. I think the Bahamas have just started big-time football. We're going to go wherever we have to, but seriously, you know, our philosophy is we need to do a great job in the state. I think you guys have heard that before, and we want to do a great job in this region as well. If you look at Penn State historically, they've done a great job 6 hours from campus. But then on top of that, we want to be able to recruit nationally by position. So we're not going to have a coach necessarily assigned to Idaho, but if there's a great player from the state of Idaho and he's at your position, you better know who he is. And that's kind of the philosophy we're taking. That's how we'll cover the rest of the state, excuse me, the rest of the country. But first, it's going to start with the state, and then it's going to go number 2 to this region, 6 hours from campus. And then after that, we'll cover the rest of the country nationally.
Okay, our final question is Donnie Collins in Scranton.
Hi, James. Just wondering, how important is it for the program to celebrate a day like signing day? I mean, you've been doing a lot of media things today and the signature event tonight, things that haven't really happened at Penn State a lot. You know, how important is it to kind of, you know, really get into the atmosphere on a day like this?
Well, you know, I know things have been done differently here in the past, but we're going to stay true to who we are while also being respectful of the past here. I know how hard this coaching staff has worked, as well as the administrative staff and our players, as well as hosts and things like that. So, you know, these coaches have not had a day off since June when we started camp. So, you know, today's a celebration of all the hard work that they've put in. You know, we'll enjoy ourselves, and then tomorrow these guys will have a chance to go see their families and do some moves and things like that. We're going to have off Thursday and Friday and a weekend to allow coaches to go home and see their families and try to get moved. But yeah, I think that's very, very important from a morale standpoint. When you work so hard at something, that you take time to take it all in, and that's what today's about. For us, we didn't have a whole lot of drama. The guys that we expected to sign in the last 2 days signed. You know, most of the letters were all in by 7, you know, probably 45. So it went well, and you know, that's just what we believe. You know, we are going to enjoy the wins on the field in recruiting and in the classroom. We're going to enjoy them, and we're going to celebrate them with our team.
Okay, thank you very much, Coach.
Guys, thank you so much.